Hi, Penny. Oh, I did send, didn't I send it? Oh, gosh. I know. Okay, all right, I will resend it right. Yep, I'll hang up and send it. Okay, okay, you're welcome, bye. Oh, Grace, Grace.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, thank you. I swear. I can't keep track of all my messages.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm happy to resend it. And if you ever got stuck, if you ever get stuck, you can go to the town calendar and click on the agenda, click on the meeting, and you'll get the agenda with the link right in it.
I did that once. I wasn't sure if it was this exactly the same link or if we had some special access.
No, that everybody, just the host has a different way to get in.
Right.
But I could go in that way as well.
Okay, well, good to know.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
to know. It's been a flurry of emails this week, hasn't it?
Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if I forgot to send the link to everybody. So
Well, I know you usually send it with the agenda.
Yeah, I usually do. And it's possible that I didn't with all the
with all the flurry, right?
Everything else. And yeah. So
okay.
Hopefully everybody that needs to be here will find their way.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, everyone else, I mean, the greater world knows to go through the agenda.
Yes, yes, they've received their instructions about that. So they should be okay.
Oh, I'm trying to be all organized. It's always a challenge. And I expect my husband will walk in the door just as the meeting starts and get the dog all riled up.
Well, that will be okay. If it starts to thunder, my cat will, even before it starts to thunder, my cat will could possibly come in and start crying.
Oh no. Well, my big goofy dog is oblivious to everything, including thunder.
That's nice because Pete, the cat, is not. He's
Yeah.
very distressed by thunder.
Well, that was quite a storm this afternoon.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we got 3 inches of rain.
Did we?
Yeah, I have a rain gauge in one of my gardens, and I checked it this morning, and it read 1.5 inches. That was from between yesterday morning and this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out and looked at it late this afternoon, and it was at 4.5 inches.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
an additional 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
know we need the rain, but holy moly, that was a
We got
gully
really-
washer.
Yeah, in fact, the commission office received an email from a woman who lives at the corner of Lake, Lakeview and Shore Drive, you know that
Yeah, yep.
right there, and that apparently a whole lot of water, I don't know where it came from, washed through her yard. So I talked to Becky about it and forwarded her email to Becky and Tim
Wow.
Hunting, because, you know, there's nothing, and let her know that if she is going to plan to do some, a project around her
Repair work,
yard,
yeah.
yeah, to be in touch.
Okay, well,
yeah.
good.
But yeah,
Ah, yeah, we, you know, we're pretty, where we live, it's pretty high and dry. Hey, Stephen, no thanks. It's pretty high and dry, but on Old Orchard Road, on one corner of it, there's this little dip
mhm.
in the road, and the whole road right there was almost completely underwater.
Wow.
It didn't really do any damage. It was just like a small lake for about 2 hours afterwards.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty much gone at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if other things happened in town. Hi,
Yeah,
Vic.
when I spoke with Becky, she didn't indicate anything to me, but you know, it really did rain hard.
Yes, it did. Well, I guess we twiddle our thumbs till things start.
Yes,
How's your vegetable garden?
it is quite prolific. Yeah, yeah, my tomatoes are just starting to come on, and the cucumbers are just starting to come, but the zucchini is,
Yes, I
yeah.
harvested a big basket of summer squash, zucchini, and cucumbers yesterday, and I put them on my front porch, and I told all my neighbors to please come take some, and
Yeah.
most of them are gone. But
Oh,
then I
that's
went
good.
out again today and harvested more of everything. You know, it's feast or famine with a home garden.
It is. It is. I've had a beautiful crop of tatsoi.
Oh,
Really, really happy with that.
I've never tried to grow that.
It just, for some, I don't know, this year it just really grew very nicely. So,
Yeah, it's funny how or at least from my observation in my garden over 25 years or so, different things do differently every summer, you know?
yeah,
Some
yeah.
years it's the summer of tomatoes, and some years it's the summer of peas. I have so many peas this year. And then some years, like my broccoli's not doing well at all this year for whatever reason.
I didn't plant any. Oh, here's Liam. Hi, Liam.
Hi, Liam. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I should probably have started making notes 25 years ago and kept track of all of this, but of course I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I have done better at different times with my garden plan, and you know, of course, when there were 4 people here, it was very different than one person.
Yes, it's hard to garden for one, isn't it?
It is. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me earlier, but today it dawned on me that I should probably freeze some of my sugar snap peas, because I have, you know, I pick 2 cups every day right now. So
Wow.
I should really blanch them and throw them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Because in 2 more weeks, there won't be any. You know how it goes.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh man, I'm looking at the agenda and realizing I've been remiss again in following up on things.
Well,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say to be continued.
To be continued, right?
Oh, Russ is most likely not coming.
Oh dear. He seems to not be doing very well.
His foot is really bothering him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not been able to have any relief yet. So he just felt like he was too uncomfortable to pay attention. He said if he felt better, he'd come.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. How are you, Liam?
I'm good. Picked up the farm share and then went to Buffalo Falls.
Oh, nice.
The water's really flowing right now. It's cool.
I bet. I was just saying to Linda, I think we got 3 inches of rain at my house in the
Yeah,
rain
that sounds.
this afternoon. It was wild.
Was yesterday the heavier day for you?
No, we got yesterday we got about 1.5 inches. Today, in about an hour's time, we got 3 inches.
Oh wow, that's more than we got.
And I know it was quite variable depending on where you were when the big amounts came, but
Mhm.
at least in my end of Shutesbury, there was a lot of rain this afternoon. Yeah, Linda,
yeah, we had more yesterday.
Yeah, you're down in Hadley, right?
Yeah.
So I hear there was some wild lightning strikes down in the center of Hadley. Were you close to any of those?
There was nothing that was cloud to ground, but there was lots of. I was out running in the afternoon, and so I got caught in the thick of the thunderstorm.
Well, that must have been sort of fun.
It was fun. It was a little bit scary, but I didn't see any lightning touch the ground, so I wasn't too worried.
Well,
but it was
good.
really heavy rain.
Yeah.
Robin's coming.
Yes, I see her square.
Linda, do you want to make me the host? Is that?
Yes. You know, it's odd that for some reason I should be able to have you be the co-host, but I for some reason can't do that. So nevertheless, I will let you be the host, and there we go. You're in charge.
Okay.
All right. It looks like Craig's in the waiting room. I'll wait a little bit to let him in.
Maybe when we get started, you can just let them know we're going to keep them in the waiting room until 7:15 or close to there.
Yeah, I can. We could just let him in and tell him that we're not going to start the hearing till 7:15 right at the beginning.
Okay.
So then he'll maybe be able to walk away from the computer for a couple minutes and then come back.
Yeah, it's just I always wonder what people who are on the other end feel like when they're just sort of in limbo in these sorts of meetings.
Right. Yeah, I think if I were them, I'd prefer to be told.
Yeah.
Just wait, go do something else and come back at 7:15.
Really, or listen to our boring old stuff that we have to take care of in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, just before we start, I want you to know that Russ is most likely not coming. He's his foot is still bothering him, and so yeah.
And Robin, can you, when the time comes, can you do the reports for site visits tonight?
Yes, if I make sure they're in front of me.
Yes, I thought maybe we'd give you a little bit of warning so you could be very well organized on that front.
Right, the curb cut and I was so busy pulling out the ones that were referenced in the minutes that, okay, so there's the curb cut. And there's the,
And then I guess we also are talking about, right, the ones in the, yes, the ones in the minutes.
Yeah, the dam keeper.
The Dam Keeper, 15 Town
Yeah.
Farm Road and 138 Box Pond.
Right.
The latter two are the ones we did this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's open our meeting at 7 o'clock, 7:01. And Linda, would you like to read our statement?
Sure. Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting of the Shutesbury Conservation Commission is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation only. The public may access it following the instructions in this meeting's agenda posted on the town website.
Okay. So Liam, would you like to just quickly check in with Mr. Martin?
I'm also going to let in Lucas Winfield.
Okay.
He is the person who's buying 25
Oh,
Great.
Leverett Road.
okay.
Hi, Craig and Lucas. Are you there?
Hi, this is Lucas. I'm here. I'm just listening in.
All right, great.
I'll stay on mute and off camera because our infant son is being a little wild and noisy.
Okay, sounds good. Would you be able to state which hearing you're here for today?
The septic tank
Okay.
or
Great. Thanks.
the Conservation Commission. Yeah.
Craig, are you there? He might not be yet.
Yeah, he's
I
muted.
think he's muted.
Mhm.
Well, so Craig and Lucas, we will tend to you at 7:15 when the public meeting starts. So we're going to try and take care of some routine business before 7:15. This is Penny Jake speaking. I'm going to ask the commission if they've had a chance to read the minutes from our 7-9 meeting.
I have,
Yeah.
Is everyone happy with the minutes as presented?
except for one thing, which may or may not be fatal. There were a couple of sort of dramatic things on page 1, but page 2, where it's talking about site visit follow-ups. Under number 2, 24 Lake Drive, says the proposed project for a new 16 by 16 foot patio on the slab is located between the house and the lake.
Oh, yes,
That's not
that's
true.
it. Yes, you're right.
The house is between the patio and the lake, so the house actually serves.
Right, the house is between the patio and the lake.
Oh, thanks for catching
Thank
that.
you. Good job.
It
Okay,
says it in the
I will fix that.
site visit. And I don't know how important the couple of little tweaks are on the front page, but that was the main thing I saw
Thank
that
you.
was not true.
Thank you. Yeah, that was written backwards.
Right, because it says it clearly on the site visit.
Yeah,
summary.
I just wrote it backwards.
That's fine. Anyway, I figured we would want to change that.
Yes. Okay. I will fix that.
But that was it.
Okay. So let's see, we can make a motion to accept the minutes as amended by Robin's comment.
All right. Liam Cregan seconds that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye and state your name, please.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Penny Jakes, aye. Southbrook Conservation Area intern and mapping, no action on that front, my apologies. Lake lowering MOU, no action on that front. Although when Robin makes her report on site visits, there was a discussion with the dam keeper about that. So we can talk about that then. Shutesbury Highway Department annual project list follow-up. I know Russ is not here, Linda.
Right. The follow-up remains pending because my goal would be to work with Russ so that so that he will follow up,
Yep.
be
Okay.
the contact for the highway department on the behalf of the commission.
Okay.
And
Okay, so to be continued. Site visit follow-up. Robin, can you give us a rundown, please?
I'm sort of looking for all my paperwork. So which site visit?
Can we start with the dam, since we just mentioned that? Do you happen to have that one handy? Sorry to put you on the spot.
You know what? I may have to cut you out and, oh, okay, I have the site visit thing I wrote up. So basically, we showed up to hear about the whole problem with the lake lowering. And so the dam keeper, Kinder explained the difficulty of lowering the lake 2 inches a day instead of 3. I honestly am not sure why that's a problem, but that's because I'm not, I don't understand the procedure. I'm not there. I'm not understanding what he has to do. Tibbet showed up because he wanted to incorporate other projects into this, into a notice of intent. So they have the water flow monitoring for the dam seepage, and they want to deepen the outflow channel so there's no standing water. And so it was kind of interesting just to kind of get the whole big picture while we were there.
It was interesting to be standing on the dam and talking about this. It's an interesting perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been on the dam before.
Yeah.
I've driven by it a gazillion times, and it's like, oh, there are some people sitting out there. How do they get to sit out there? And anyway, it was very interesting. And our recommendation was, we were just getting information and making observations.
Right. And so just for clarification, the notice of intent is the notice of intent for the repair of the outflow culvert from the dam. And so Walter is hoping that these other 2 small projects can be amended to that. And Linda, I don't know if you know where things stand with that. Have you had a conversation with Becky about how far along the notice of intent for the dam repair, the culvert repair is?
what I know is that it's forthcoming.
Yeah.
And I do know that there will be a listening session at some point in the near future for people, about this project.
And would that be prior to the notice being filed, or just?
I can't tell you that. I don't
Okay.
know. I really have no further detail, and I would hope that Walter is in touch with Becky.
Yeah, it was interesting. It seemed like there was some lack of communication between the 2 of them on this, but I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but
so yes, I can check with Becky about it.
Yeah, it would certainly be a good time to do these other two small projects associated with the dam, because it, you know, when the water is being diverted for the culvert repair,
Right.
it would be much easier to do those other two things.
So it's the water flow seepage monitor.
Right.
And what is the second item?
It's deepening the channel, the outflow channel.
Oh,
So
outflow channel. Okay.
yeah, because right now there's standing water in there that pools, and they want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
And I guess the outflow monitor was supposed to have been installed quite some time ago, but through some issues that I didn't quite understand, it wasn't installed in the place where it would provide the most useful information. So
Yeah,
it'd be an opportunity to put it in the right place.
I had a number of conversations with Walter Tibbetts over the last couple of years about a notice of intent for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so perhaps knowing that the culvert replacement was going to be forthcoming, that would be the ideal time to include it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, and just to restate what Robin said about the lake lowering, I also did not really understand why Howard Kinder felt that lowering 2 inches a day versus 3 inches a day made it that much more complicated, but he felt pretty strongly about that. So I guess we will have a conversation perhaps at some point between Howard and Mark Rivers and the commission, just get that sorted out before the drawdown needs to happen this year.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the only possible reason I could think of is that it's going to take longer.
Right. Right. Which,
Yeah,
yes.
I also seem to remember him saying that he would have to physically be there more throughout the day. Was my impression. I think he would have to open and shut that manual valve.
Right.
He has more, but that was all that I got. I didn't understand how much more of a time commitment it would be.
Exactly. Okay. Well, to be continued. Let's see. Robin, can you talk to us about 15 Town Farm Road? That is the garden reclamation project.
Right. So we're kind of going back and forth between last week's.
Oh, sorry. I'm doing it in the order that they're listed in the agenda. So you can do them in whatever order you would like.
I mean, I'm happy to do, okay, I'm going to have to shuffle again because I was ready to talk
Well,
about.
do the one that you're ready to talk about. It doesn't go.
Okay. The 25 Liver Road.
So that will come up, Robin, during the
Oh.
request for determination.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so you're asking me for the, I mean, I can always, so I'm sorry, where are we?
We're
What
talking about 15 Town Farm Road, which we went to. It was yesterday, right?
Yep.
Where they were discussing removing vegetation on the stream bank.
Right.
Well, I'm going to let you get organized for in a minute because it's 7:14 now.
Right, okay.
And we will, in 1 minute, open our public meeting for the RDA at 25 Leverett Road. So maybe you can be prepared with a site visit for that, and we'll deal with the other ones after 7:30 or after we finish with the RDA.
Cool. And we do have one more guest. I'm assuming it's for the hearing. Alan Weiss, would you be able to just introduce yourself and say why you're here?
Greetings, Alan Weiss here, listening to the hearing. If I have something to add, I will wait my turn.
So
Great.
Alan, you've prepared the plan, correct?
No.
No, okay.
I'm sorry, no, I did not prepare the plan. I'm simply listening on behalf of the buyer of the property.
I see, okay, thank you. Okay, at 7:15, we'll open the public meeting for the RDA at 75 Leverett Road. for a septic system upgrade. Mr. Martin, would you, let's see, are you unmuted? You are. Can you just give us a quick overview of the project, please?
Yeah, we're selling the house, and we had a new the building. The system failed Title V, and we had a new system design. And there's a concern about nearby wetlands.
Right. Okay. So let's see. This is always challenging to have the right document up at the right time here. So Liam, can you share the site plan?
Sure thing.
And
If not, I have it handy if you want to, but you've got it. Okay, good. Got it.
Does that work for folks?
yeah.
Yes.
So my understanding is that the previous septic system failed, although I'm looking at this trying to figure out where the previous system was.
It's on the drawing that we're looking at. It's just sort of it's between the house and the new system. It's sort of
Okay, I see it now.
Yep.
I see it now. Okay. And when we looked at the site, Robin, if I remember correctly, from our sense, the wetland extended a little bit closer to the area of work than appears here, but still not close to where the proposed erosion control is shown on the site plan.
Yes, that agrees with what I have recorded.
Okay. So what's happening with the old septic? Oh, you're pumping it, crushing it, and backfilling it. Okay.
the existing tank, yes, and then the field is going to be left abandoned in place, is what the note says.
Okay.
Mm.
And I see you have erosion control shown going from the, it looks like the attached shed arcing back around the project.
Yep. Yeah, that 9-inch wattle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the reasoning behind that is that it's fairly flat back there.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Weiss, do you have any questions or concerns?
The only thing I can add is that as far as I know, there is not an approval from the Board of Health yet. So that would mean that revisions are in process.
Well, I know
So-
typically they won't approve it until the commission has acted on it. So that may be the holdup on that front.
Yeah, there's a meeting scheduled
there's-
for the health department.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the revised plan. I guess that gets to my question. Is this a revised plan based on the Board of Health comments, or is that still pending and not presented to us?
This is, that I know of, the most recent plan. I don't know that the Board of Health has commented on it.
Tell them available the meeting next week.
And the meeting,
That's all I'm saying is that I was just hoping to be able to see the plan that the Board of Health will be acting on, because I know they had several revision issues, and it would be my advice to just confirm that the plan that the Board of Health will be making a decision on is the plan that you're looking at. That's all I wanted to add.
I think the revision here is that the original plan came in without the siltation device, and that was added.
Okay, well, since this is the only plan that we have in front of us, I guess this is the plan that the commission will weigh in on. And if it turns out that the Board of Health has other concerns, then
Back to the drawing board.
back to the drawing board, exactly. So hopefully, Mr. Martin, this is the plan that the Board of Health is going to be looking at?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay. So I guess, normally my thought on these things is that a newer improved septic system is an upgrade, and, we try to work with the applicant to get these approved. And I think with the siltation and fence and the condition that any excess material be removed from the site, I'm comfortable with this plan. Robin and Liam, do you want to have any questions?
Yeah, I would agree. My only comment would be that the way the siltation is kind of drawn in the plan, if it could perhaps curve around. I know that you do have a really flat backyard, but I did notice that, since the wetland does extend further into near your backyard than it did on the map, if the siltation could just kind of curve around to ensure that none of it gets into that stream bed that comes out from that culvert from your neighbor's yard,
Yeah,
that would be all that I would be concerned about.
all right, so around the back side along the property line.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
Thank you. Yeah, that is, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well, let's see. All in favor of closing this public meeting and approving the plan as presented? Well, I'll move that we close this public meeting and approve the plan as presented with Liam's modification.
Do we need to come back with the modification, or when we go in front of the health board, I'll make sure the drawing reflects that?
Right, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
And make sure a copy gets to the Conservation Commission.
Okay, and I know usually or often Linda and the Board of Health are in communication for these sort of things. So that would be great. So may I have a second to my motion?
Liam Cregan seconds.
All in favor, please state your name and say aye.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Penny Jakes, aye. Okay. So, Mr. Martin, we will try to get your orders out tonight. And of course, this will be sent to the Board of Health in this particular situation. So hopefully you're good to go.
Yeah, so I think I am. I'll speak with our engineer tomorrow morning.
Gosh, it looks like you're on the water somewhere.
We were in Maine last summer.
Oh. That's pretty sneaky. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So we have,
Site visit summary for the 15 Town Farm Road.
okay.
So we were there to check it out. What they want to do is they have some vegetation they consider weeds that they want to get out of there. And they don't just want to leave it plain. They want to put, other plants in, but it's a steep slope, and at the bottom is a stream. And so basically we were there to sort of assess what was going on. The resource area is wetland vegetation associated with the stream. And there's a culvert that takes the stream sort of under their backyard where it's been covered and there's a lawn and stuff. we found the culvert that channelized the stream under the west side of the property. And our recommendations is that they do need to file an RDA if machinery is part of the vegetation removal. And they're pretty insistent that that's what it's going to take, because they said they've tried without it and the vegetation just came back, that it was not successful. And we said even if they do that, they need to leave a vegetative buffer between the resource area and upslope. So they can't remove all of that stuff that they want to get rid of. So that was just our recommendation.
And so then I guess Linda is left with the unenviable task of passing that on to the Logans.
So did you talk with them about the art? Did you tell them an RDA is required at the visit?
Well, Tim was not there. I think we came to the discussion, the decision after leaving the site.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I was fairly clear with Tim when I spoke with him that if he wanted to use machinery here, that it was going to require some paperwork with the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
But he was not present
Okay.
for the site visit.
Right.
And Penny, did you also mention that he said they might not follow through with what they want to do if paperwork is necessary?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
his email did indicate that. Yeah.
Okay.
And so just, you know, as a gardener, the other possibility here is to cut back the vegetation to as close to the ground as possible and cover it with tarps or cardboard or something that prevents sunlight getting to it and killing the vegetation that way rather than excavating it out. The challenge in this spot is that there's Virginia creeper and there's grapevine. You know, there are things with fairly substantial root systems. So
Right.
it's a challenge, but it's possible to do it through non-mechanized ways. And truly the area they want to work on butts right up to where the culvert is where the stream exits. So it's a challenging spot. Okay, last site visit, the curb cuts.
All right. I mean, I was just doing those today.
Yeah. Fresh in your mind.
Well, it's kind of interesting the way they were dividing. He wants to divide his property into 3 separate lots. I think it was very creative of them to use the entry, you know, the beginning of the driveway of his lot, which I guess is number 2, the one in the middle.
Yeah, it must be number 2.
And then have that be the one for number 1, so they don't have to deal with number 1. And then number 2, they really only have to deal with a very short piece going from where the old driveway was out to the road. So I think that you know, they're really minimizing their impact. And so basically it was just the third one that we had concerns about. Resource area, palustrine forested wetland. On the map, it appears to be isolated and more than 1,000 square feet. We observed the wetland had been flagged and they were 26 feet from the proposed curb cut. And then I made a note, a review of the curb cuts do not include that the rest of the area within the lots is exempt. We didn't look at the rest of the area. So if we just approve these and say this is fine, anything else they do on those lots is still gonna need to be assessed. And we recommended that they file an RDA, but only for lot 1. That's the only one that's needed. The other 2 lots,
And I don't have that map in front of me. Lot 1 is the
The northernmost one.
Okay, okay,
One
thank
where
you.
we really went in and walked around and looked at where the wetland flags were. And I said the other two lots appear to be outside of the jurisdictional area. So it's really, and I made a point of, in the site visit summary, I referred to it, file an RDA for lot 1, quote, the northernmost lot. So there's
Got
no
it. Thank
question
you.
which
So
one.
that's, excuse me, that's identified as lot 1 on the survey plan?
You gave us, yes.
Okay, and so the house, the current house is at lot 2,
Correct.
and the driveway access for number 2 is being used for number 3?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And as Robin said, that was done to avoid creating a new drive for lot. Oh, now I'm
The
confused.
third for
I
number 3?
guess,
Yeah.
that would be close to a wetland area.
Right, this way they're leaving their driveway that goes through, starts during lot 1 and then veers over to what is now lot 2, because that doesn't bother any wetlands. And so they said, oh, well, we'll just, add another little piece connecting that old one in lot 2 where there's no wetlands. I mean,
Right,
I was pretty impressed with how they were trying to do it.
So can I ask you the status of things? Did you sign off on the curb cut for?
We were not presented with curb cut forms.
Absolutely, I gave them to Robin.
Oh,
did.
that's my mistake. I did not know. I thought that was
Okay.
just, in information you were giving us. I had no idea. I was like, wow, these look like actual forms and they're signed and
So we will let Robin fill out the 2 that we can sign off on.
so just hold on a minute. I mean, I'm still learning and I had no idea I was supposed to do this. I was so nobody said deal with the applications. So
Well, that's okay. We do curb cuts maybe once every 3 years. So
Right,
none of us
right.
are that familiar with it.
Yeah,
So
it's totally
just-
fine.
should I just call Linda tomorrow and find out what to write in and
Yep.
what to sign?
So there's 2 applications there.
Yes,
We'll be able to, by reading them, figure out which one is which.
yes, one is said lot 1, the other said, wait.
Yeah.
Lot 2 of 1, that should be lot 3. This says lot 2, but that's theirs. I guess
He's
theirs
identified, if you read his letter, he's identified 2 curb cuts.
Yep,
And he says, the place I proposed for the lot 2 curb cut is cleared and is about 40 feet north of the existing driveway.
that is wrong. The map, let me get the map out.
I'm going to interrupt for a minute because it's 7:34 and we need to continue the ANRAD. So let's pause this conversation
Okay,
for
and
just a
I'm sorry, I
minute.
did not
That's
know.
okay. We're trying to squeeze
Okay.
everything we can in the little in-between times. So let's pause that. And so we got an email from Maria today.
Yep.
Requesting that the 2 Pratt Corner Road sites be continued, and we will, I guess, continue to the 27th of August, which is our second meeting in August, and we'll continue. I propose we continue public hearing for ANRAD at ZW6 Pratt Corner Road West to 7:30 on August 27th. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then may I have a second for that?
Liam Cregan, second.
Okay. All in favor? Please state your
Robin
name.
Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Penny Jakes, aye. So this might be a good time to just, if you don't mind pausing, Robin. Yeah.
That was me.
Do you want to wait and talk about, do you want to finish site visits first, Linda? Okay.
Yeah, let's finish that. Let's finish those so that that piece is done, and then we can
Okay.
go back to the ANRADs and kind of do that
Okay.
all together. Okay. So I can see where it's confusing because he does have, lot 2 is where the existing house is.
And then she calls it 40 feet north of existing drive, but lot 2.
So I think that's because, you know, the flagged section for the driveway that will, you know, go up to their house.
Mhm.
I think that would be about 40 feet north of the existing driveway. So it's confusing because of the way the driveway is.
Right. It
Right.
has a strong curve to it.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So yes, so you can see that it's actually,
Yeah, that makes sense to me now. Thank
Okay.
you.
So just to, is this correct? Lot 3 does not need a curb cut because they're using the existing driveway curb cut, correct?
Correct.
Lot
wait,
2,
no,
lot,
no, wait, hold it. Lot 3 does need a curb cut because it's and being annexed into, you know, like, there are 2 curb cuts.
right. And they're for lots 2
And 1.
and 1 because lot 3 is taking over the existing curb cut.
Got it. Okay,
Yes,
got
yes.
it. I
It's
see. Because he made
it's
this
very
little hook
confusing.
over. Yeah, he made this little hook over of the land. Okay.
Right.
Got it. Right. Okay.
And so the new lot number 3 does not need a curb cut. It's taking over the existing house curb cut.
Okay.
The existing house needs a curb cut. That's lot 2, but it is in an upland area, so that one can be signed off on. The one that can't be signed off on is lot 1.
Right.
Which is 26 feet from an isolated wetland, although I suspect it may have hydrologic connections, but what we can see is that it's at least a wetland under our town bylaw.
Yep. So I guess since I have these 2, I will, I guess, be in touch with Linda. And am I the one who's going to sign to the one that we're okaying?
You
Yeah,
can sign.
it requires a Concom signature.
Okay.
And then it can go, well, we need to get it back to Mr. Hall so that he can then follow up with Tim Hunting.
And then there's no date put down for application receipt date. So I don't want to take up a lot of time during the meeting now, but I'll get these details from you and get this taken care of tomorrow.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Linda?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
And
would
then
you
the one
rather wait? Would you rather wait and do it next Tuesday during your regular hours?
It would be,
That would be fine.
it would be better, Robin, if we can
Okay.
do it Tuesday,
Mhm.
just because I have other work I need to take care of tomorrow.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, my apologies. I didn't know we were supposed
Oh.
to do anything. I almost said, gee, why do we have the actual ones with people's signatures on them?
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, this is an excellent learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see things you've never done before, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, look at all this cool stuff Linda gave me to go to this.
Okay, so the status of ANRAD application. So I hope everyone saw the email that I sent out today, which was summarizing my conversation with Emily Stockman. It's always very informative to talk with her. And I'm gonna Linda, do I need to read this to get it into the record? Or can we just assume that the email that I sent is sufficient?
I will reference it in the record.
Okay. And I'll just quickly go over it then, rather than
If, you know,
reading the whole thing. So basically, Emily has been to all of the sites twice except for Pratt Corner West, and she's waiting for TRC to give her what she needs to go out and do that site. So there's that. And then, as I said, and I mentioned this in our during our last site visit, so TRC will create final plans based on Emily's comments, and those will be given to the commission and to Emily. Emily will go over them with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm hoping that each of us can go over the sites that we're familiar with and just be a second set of eyes, comparing Emily's comments to the plans that we receive. And as Emily mentioned, the Baker Road and Carver Road sites were essentially done anew because there were so many changes on there. The two you went on, Liam, were, as Emily said, more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I don't think I had quite grasped before was at the end of all of this, we have to issue 2 orders of conditions for each site. One based on the State Wetlands Protection Act and one based on the jurisdictional areas that are under our bylaw. So I think Emily will hold our hand on all of that, but that I have never done this before, so this will all be very interesting. And based on what Emily and I talked about, she suggested, and I think it's a great idea, that the resource areas that are wetland protection, state area regulated areas be color coded in one color, and that our bylaw areas be color coded in another color. So it's really clear when we're looking at the maps what's what. And Emily and I and Maria had talked about the second time I went out to Carver Road about having overlays. So the original delineation that TRC did be shown with an overlay of the new expanded areas. So it's really clear the work that has been done. And I think that the benefit of that is it will allay the concerns of town residents who want to make sure that due diligence has been done on this. And I think it will also be helpful for us as well.
I really like that idea, by the way. When I had read that, I thought totally approve.
And so I am going to recommend to TRC that each of us get a full-size set of plans so we don't have to try and look at it piece by piece by piece on our screens. So we have you know, a good, easy to look at set of information to prepare ourselves. And then I am going to ask Emily or Maria to revise page 1 so that the applicant information is consistent with the applicant's address, phone number, and email, rather than it being partly Coles and partly the developer. So it was Emily's suggestion that when the time comes that we split Baker and Montague into 2 separate nights because they're so different. I'd be interested to hear, Robin and Liam, your reactions to that. And perhaps keep the Pratt corners together, although I think Linda thinks maybe separating those as well might be the easier thing to do. Linda, am I right in characterizing that you felt that that would be a useful thing?
I was just thinking about the fact of what will, this is part of the further conversation, but just trying to manage these by Zoom, that how much you can realistically do in one night with questions, potential questions from the public, the presentation by the applicant, Emily's presence, your own questions, and then questions with the public, maybe enough. We don't know about Pratt Corner. We definitely know that Baker is going to have significant interest because that's already been demonstrated. So that, I don't know about the 2 Pratt Corners, but I think the other 2. And of course, we have more information about Carver at this point as well.
Right, they're looking at another piece south of the site they delineated already for Carver, right? Did I see that today?
Right, that just came through this afternoon.
Is that going to be another NRAD, or is that going to be?
Well, that's something we need to discuss tonight.
Okay.
And so we can discuss that now. I will just say, Emily, who has been doing this with who has been serving as a consultant for many towns, pointed out to me that different towns are doing things different ways. And many people are many towns are operating like we are, completely virtually, but she has been to outdoor meetings in at least one town, and some commissions are meeting inside, in public, or in some sort of public space. So we'll see how long this gets pushed out, but just sort of food for thought.
I would definitely be open to the concept of an outdoor meeting. And I think a lot of the public would be interested in that too, just for the communication sake. But also, I think if we did that, we'd want to make sure that there was a virtual option for folks who were not comfortable attending.
Right. And I guess the select board is meeting every 2 weeks at this point, and one of their topics every 2 weeks is when town hall might reopen, and when socially distant but face-to-face meetings might happen again. And I guess Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're somewhat bound by their decision on this, correct?
Yes, so I can tell you that there's, it's sort of like 2 different things. Reopening town hall would possibly be by appointment for people who have kind of the kinds of business that people might have in town hall. Right now, the phase 3 limit is 8 people per 1,000 square feet. So downstairs room is not even 1,000 square feet.
Right. So can you may not know the answer to this, but I know restaurants are open and people are in restaurants. Are they bound to that same space constraint? All
I know is what what that rule is, and as far as an outside meeting, there's also been talk about that, and logistically, there are logistics and there are questions. We don't have we're not the type of town that has any full-time custodial or building staff to set up tents, to manage lighting, to manage electricity, screens, seating, hygiene.
Yeah.
We did annual town meeting because there was a massive volunteer effort to make that happen. So that's, those are the constraints. Some towns have different staffing, different capability. So,
So
those
it's
are the
not
things
as
that
e-
come up. Those are just the things that come
Right.
up about who would do all the preparation and the
Right.
preparation. Those are the things that I think about, that Becky would be thinking about. That's the reality of it. It's so different than just, me setting up the meeting room for you.
Yeah, it really
the
is.
whole- yeah.
Mm. So anyway, so my understanding is, and you can correct me again, Linda, if I don't have it right, we're in phase 3 of reopening. And as long as we're in phase 3, we're still under these constraints of so many people in a particular space and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right. And I did hear the governor say that we are going to be in phase 3 until such time as there is a vaccine.
Well,
Yeah.
how are schools going to open? I keep wondering. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I guess we can't really come to grips with that. And we're still sort of kicking the can down the road a ways with TRC continuing to provide information at a fairly slow rate.
Yeah. So do you want to, we have a little more time. Do you want to talk about the Montague Carver Road request?
We can at least start that discussion. So I've been thinking about that a lot today. So I think it was fairly clear in what Maria said. They did not find enough upland area in the Carver Road site to do what they want to do. And so now they're looking at some additional area, which is so all of the area looked at so far is on the north side of Carver Road. This new area it looks like 2 discrete patches on the south side of Carver Road. The map was really hard for me to get a sense of looking at it on my computer screen, but that's what it appeared to me. And TRC is requesting that we just amend the ANRAD notice, correct, Linda?
Yes.
Which is a possibility, and Linda has done some research today, and both Mark Stinson, our circuit rider, and Emily, our consultant, say that there is no absolute answer on this, that it's really up to the commission how we proceed. We can either ask them to submit a new ANRAD notice for this new area and proceed apace with the area on the north side and bring that to a conclusion, or we can allow them to to amend the current order or the current notice to include this new area. And I guess there are a couple different viewpoints on this that we should consider. One is that keeping it all in one big piece might be easier for the future when we're looking back at records. So it's all one contiguous project rather than 2 separate projects or 2 separate ANRADs that might factor in on one development project.
Right. And it would be one file number.
And it would be one file number.
With the property.
Right.
Mm.
So one thing that I did look at, and just to backtrack a little bit, Maria did say that they would, even if we included this new area in review of the current ANRAD that is before us, that TRC would still re-notice all of the abutters. So they would all be whenever this final public hearing is held, they would notify everyone.
Right, they've previously agreed to republish the legal ad because if you can remember way back to January, they had an error in the legal ad. So they will republish the legal ad, and she says she'd be happy to re-notify the abutters.
Right.
And that was my one question as
Right.
well, is that we would ask them to ensure that there's no change to the abutter list. I don't think there is, but they would need to just check on that.
Right. And then the other thing that came to my mind today was the fee. So Maria was hoping that they could avoid paying another fee. And just so you know, each of the 4 ANRADs that have been submitted so far had to pay a $2,000 fee per project, which is the maximum fee for an ANRAD. And I was just in my mind trying to think a little bit about Linda's time and our time. And of course, we're volunteers and we don't get paid, but I'm just thinking about the amount of commission and clerk effort that has gone into this, and whether it's reasonable to think if we're adding another area that would also be maxed out. I don't know quite what the max, what brings it to the $2,000 max fee, but all 4 projects are already at that max size, and the 3 other projects are all significantly smaller than this project. So they're adding another area that is bigger than, I think, the other 3 projects. So that's just another little bit of information to think about as we do this. So interested to hear what Robin and Liam have to say.
I didn't realize that project, the new proposed site, was that large in comparison to the other ones. I thought it was
It's an additional
60.
45 to 50 acres.
45 to 50.
Additional 45 to 50 is
Aren't-
what-
Don't they total to like 200 acres? All 4 sites, at least.
Well, but they're all charged the fee. So the other 3 projects are in the 40 to 50 acre size,
Okay.
and they all were big enough to max out to the $2,000 fee for each of those.
Yeah. So you're saying it'll still likely max out if we were to.
Yes, it'll max out. I went back and looked at all the numbers, and it will max out again at another $2,000.
Okay.
And just for the record, that all that money is in your wetland protection.
Well, right, and just because some of you haven't been part of this for a while, there's a somewhat complicated fee structure. So the fee is sort of split down the middle between almost half of it coming to DEP and almost half of it coming to whatever the local commission is that's overseeing the project. But there's some little twist in there.
Yeah, it's like, I forget.
$25.
It's
Anyway, it's a funny little thing, but close to half of it goes to DEP and close to half of it comes to the town. And I'm thinking Linda has put a lot of time so far into all of this, and we've all spent a lot of time walking sites as volunteers. I've spent a fair amount of time updating websites and other things, and to me, that's just something to throw into the mix as we consider this.
Right. And would they have to file a separate ANRAD for that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's kind of your take on why that would be better, is because of the time we put in.
Well,
you can't.
Right.
I don't know that it's better, but it's just another factor to think about.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. And I think I liked your point about it all being one, one file number, because they're across Carver Road from each other, correct?
And Carver Road is, we think of Carver Road is not a road.
It's not really a road, yeah.
Because there are houses on west and east.
And east,
the center
it's more of a double track.
It's a private road it's a private road. It's not a town-owned road.
No, it's not. It's a discontinued town road.
It's a discontinued town road. So in the center, I believe, is owned by Coles. Is that correct?
Okay.
Much of the center is owned by Coles, right? And it was actually subdivided into many house lots a long time ago. So if you look at some maps, you can see all these proposed house lots all along Carver Road. But for complicated reasons that I don't understand, that never went forward.
I can tell you that I did have a phone message from Peg Ross, who was on the select board in the 80s. And it was first she wanted to know about the continuation date for the Carver Road ANRAD. So I left her a message regarding that. But she also said that when she was on the select board in the mid 80s, that's when Carver Road was discontinued as a town road. And at that time, Coles had proposed a subdivision.
Right. Which I understand was denied because it's not on a public way. But that's hearsay, so. And I'm going to pause this conversation. Well, I'm going to pause this conversation because it's 8 o'clock and we need to talk about continuing the ANRAD for Pratt Corner East. And I guess my initial thought had been to propose continuing that to the 27th of August, but after our conversation earlier, I wonder if that to our first September meeting. So we separate all 4 of these out to 4 different meeting dates over the long haul. I wonder what people think about that.
I think we should probably operate under the assumption that these will have to happen as virtual meetings. So I think that's a good idea. Separate them all out.
So 1 per meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So then that would be the 10th of September? Is that right? I think so. Or the second Thursday?
Second week, yeah. It's the 10th.
Okay. Linda, do you have any thoughts about that?
I think all things considered, since you may have a new clerk.
What was that?
That, you know, you'll have a new clerk too.
Right.
That one, it seems like 1 per meeting, because bearing in mind that at this point, you've got 3 RDAs coming up, and the notice of intent for the Sawmill Locks Pond culvert.
Which is the dam culvert.
The dam culvert, yeah. So just thinking about those things in the mix of all of this and what you can realistically manage and feel like you're not overwhelmed. You know, it just seems, if you can do it, if there's no pushback, you know, from TRC, then it seems to make sense.
Well, it was interesting that Maria didn't make a suggestion about dates this time.
No.
And it's Pratt Corner West that is the one where where Emily is still waiting for their second.
West is still pending. Yep.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion that we continue the public hearing for ANRAD at ZG2, which is Pratt Corner East, to September 10th at 7:30. May I have a second?
Liam Cregan seconds that.
Okay, all in favor, please state your name and vote.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Penny Jakes, aye.
Ooh,
Oh, okay, so I guess we need to come to some sort of resolution about what to do regarding the ANRAD. The proposal to add another close to 50 acres to the Carver Road ANRAD review.
and just another for Robin and Liam, in terms of Emily Stockman's time that will be required for this additional acreage, that is paid for by the that's paid for by TRC. They're you know, however they work it with their applicant, but they will pay that additional money once Emily.
Okay, so yeah, there won't be, the peer review consultant will still be at the expense of the applicant. Is what you're
Yes,
saying.
under chapter 53G. So what will happen is Emily, we'll have to ask Emily for an updated scope of work for this, Penny.
Right.
And so that then the mechanism can be put in place to request that those additional funds from TRC so they can be deposited and ready to pay Emily.
Yeah, I think that I definitely fall on the side of attaching it to the current ANRAD in this case. Just keeping it all in a neat package for, you know, to reflect on in the future, I think sounds smart. And especially because there's no reason to worry about a peer review delineation being able to happen without without it coming out of our pocket. So I think that's where I fall.
Robin, do you have?
I don't have strong feelings, but Liam makes a great point. So I think I agree with him.
I gotta say, I'm really on the fence. And as if, I mean, I'll certainly go with the majority here, but it feels like the equivalent of a whole new project to me as far as the area that's being looked at. And so the Carver Road ANRAD goes from being the biggest project to begin with by 10 acres or so to more than double the size of the other three. And, you know, as I said, I'm really on the fence about what the best way to do this is. I wish I could ask Emily if the applicant, the solar farm developer, is abandoning the idea of trying to do it on the Carver Road, north of Carver Road, and looking exclusively now at trying to do it south of Carver Road, or if the project would potentially, I mean, I looked at the map, and the south of Carver Road project areas are two discrete areas as best I could tell, right, Linda? You looked at it, didn't you?
They're two blue areas, right?
Right, and they come up to Carver Road, but they don't, you know, there's a big section in the middle where there's, where they're not proposing reviewing for the project.
Right, it's kind of like.
Can everyone just call up the map for a minute just to look at it? I found it really hard to look at because
the base map makes it hard to read.
Yeah, the blue color on there is really hard to see from my perspective. But if you look at it, you know, the road that goes across the top of what you're looking at is Carver Road. And then there's, you know, one chunk of maybe, I'm guessing 15 acres on the south side, and then a discontinuous section that is maybe 30 plus acres. And then there's this blue line, this skinny line that goes way, way down
Mhm.
Yeah,
to Montague Road that I don't get what that is all about.
Could be access road,
Yeah.
but it could be easier to, but, huh.
But that the two
Yeah,
areas are split, you know, so you wonder, well, I suppose they could split a solar site.
I guess it could be like multiple small solar sites. I mean, when I looked at it, I just couldn't really, I was trying to suss out what their plan might be, and I couldn't really
Yeah.
get a sense of things.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it looks like you're right, Liam, that there looks like they're trying to put an access road through where there might not be wetlands.
Right.
Right. And all
and
those green
potentially-
and orange things are wetlands?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the sort of red and pink magenta bounded areas are not owned by Coles,
Mhm.
or some of them are not owned.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what all that is.
Right.
Yeah, they're definitely parcels. That's
Yeah.
all I got. The pink.
Owned by somebody.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, it is a Z-lot. And so that a Z-lot means that Coles has a number of parcels within that area that are connected.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, you know, you can see where there are house lots on Montague Road, but these other larger parcels are most likely the Z-lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Well, it was an
I guess,
interesting
yeah.
map to give to us because it's really hard to put it in context with the portion that's north of Carver Road. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would actually maybe like to see how they connect before we make a decision.
yeah, actually, Liam, it's interesting you say that because I came very close to emailing Maria today and asking for that very thing. You know, sort of an overview that included the part that's north of Carver Road, that included the paved roads on either side with Montague and Wendell Road, so you could really get a sense of what all this is. And frankly, there's one road there's one, you know, the white, I guess, is roads, or I don't know. There's
I don't
Carver
understand
Road.
what that white road just above the blue
I
line.
think
That's
I
not
think
Carver Road, is it?
it's the transmission line that bisects Shutesbury. It's not really a road. It's just some sort of right of way for an underground transmission.
That white squiggle across the top?
The white script, the one that goes vertically on the map,
Oh,
the transmission line. I referenced it to some other maps and I figured that out. But what I don't know is what that one little short piece is that comes off there.
Right.
So, you know, that's really just a point of curiosity, but I would love to see the whole thing in a more comprehensive look. I mean, we could defer a decision to our next meeting.
which is 3 weeks.
Right.
So could we ask for a map showing how this proposed site and the other Carver Road site connect, and then defer the decision to the next meeting? Because I think, yeah, the more we look at this, the more I'm just like, well, if there isn't a significant connection between the two, which I think there is.
I think there is too, but I can't quite picture it, but the way that this is portrayed.
So
3 weeks is quite a delay.
it is, okay.
That's just my thought on it.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I don't feel very bad about that if we're presented with last minute information that is not well presented. you know, that's just how the chips fall.
Yeah, I mean, we got this today, huh?
Right. Well, yes.
Late this
This
afternoon.
afternoon.
Yep. Yep. I mean,
Yeah, I
And so
don't
I agree that it is,
necessarily feel bad.
and it almost seems like they're just trying to substitute a new place for the old place that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, well, you know, who knows what they're thinking? I mean, it's really, and it's not really our job to try and second guess what their development plan is, but I don't know. I will go with what you two recommend.
It's tricky. I'm pretty on the fence too. But I mean, I do trust Emily a lot. So knowing that she'll be paid to peer review the wetlands, I think like given our role as we're here to make sure the wetland boundaries are accurate, it shouldn't be too much. I don't think it's too much of a problem to have them on the same ANRAD. I think despite all this information and discussion, I think I might still feel that way, especially because I trust Emily a lot, and having seen her level of detail.
Robin, how are you feeling about things?
I think I kind of agree with Liam now, hearing how he presented that argument.
So does someone want to make a motion? Liam? You've articulated your point well.
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how to word it, but I'll try. So this is Liam Cregan moving that we amend the existing ANRAD to include the parcel south of Carver Road, the 50-acre parcel south of Carver Road.
so, right, so what you would be, can I just add, can I help?
Yes.
You want to move that the commission, this is about letting TRC know that the commission will accept an amended ANRAD.
Okay. All right, so
That's what you're deciding, that you're deciding, can they amend, or do you want new? So that's what you're deciding.
okay. Yeah, so I move that the commission will accept an amended ANRAD for the Montague Carver Road ANRAD if TRC sends it our way.
I second the motion. Robin Harrington.
Okay, all in favor, please state your name and vote.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Penny Jake's a very reluctant aye.
So Penny, will you be contacting Maria?
Well, I would like to have the permission of the commission to call Maria tomorrow. And I would tell her several things. I would tell her about the new dates for the 2 continued public hearings. I would specifically ask her for the 4 things that I would like to see in their final submission. And I would tell her that we will allow them to amend the existing ANRAD for Montague Carver.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, where's my agenda?
Okay.
So we still need to issue a determination of applicability for 25 Leverett Road.
And plan some site visit D.
Right, we have a site visit. And then we also have an additional agenda item of the request from the planning board.
Yes, okay. So would you like me to tell you about that first?
Yep, I would.
Okay, all right, so hang on for 1 second. I just need to do something. Okay, so I received an email from a member of the planning board asking for the commission and 2 other departments to review the planning board preliminary subdivision applications for the 4 areas. And I was perplexed about that because the applications were, all 4 were rejected and disapproved for various reasons during the planning board's last meeting. So today I spoke with the chair of the planning board, and he recommended that the commission hold off on reviewing the applications that we have. I have PDFs of them if anyone's curious to see them, but there's no requirement that you spend time reviewing them at this point, given that you have all the ANRADs and there's, that's it.
Right. And I will say, sort of as a follow-up to what Linda said, I can't speak to all 4 subdivision plans, but at least the one for Carver Montague that I looked at most closely is a different area than the ANRAD area. And so it's not an area that we have intimate information on because we haven't been out there with Emily and TRC to look at. It's a different portion of the property that Coles owns. Although I suspect it may be I suspect that access road, that possible access road may be connected to where those subdivision plans are on Carver/Montague. So anyway, I'm not sure that we can really provide a lot of help to the planning board right now because my sense is they're not areas that we are particularly familiar with. So Linda, I'm wondering if you could provide to Deacon just a wetland overlay map for those areas at some point if they request it.
If they
Right.
ask for it, yes.
Ask for it, right.
Right. If they get to that point.
Right.
The maps do show some things, but they're
Right. They don't show everything.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm. So, okay.
Okay. So do we want to quickly talk about a potential site visit date? Because we have at least one site visit, which is 25 Lakeview Road for another septic system, which is, according to Linda, within our jurisdiction.
You have 2 site visits, actually.
Oh, okay.
You have, oops, hang on for a second. So you have 25 Lake Drive, which is a site visit for a new septic system. I haven't received anything. I haven't received an RDA yet. It just came because they were applying, their engineer, Rick Scott, had submitted plans to the Board of Health, and the Board of Health said, Catherine Hilton from the Board of Health said, you need to check with Concom. This is in Riverfront. This is 25 Lake Drive. So if you're at the intersection of Locks Pond Road and Lakeview Road, this is to the left as if you were going towards Leverett. And so this property is just well, the current cesspit for this site, I think I wrote in the email, is 40 feet from the Sawmill River tributary there.
So is this the first house on
No,
to
this
the
is,
left?
I forget the address of the first house, but this is several houses down on the left-hand side as you're heading towards Leverett.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's been vacant for some time because over the last couple of years, the office has received a couple of inquiries about the extent of the riverfront.
Okay.
Anyway, so I wrote back to the engineer and told him that a request. He didn't think that the Concom had to do anything with this project, but that is not the case.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, most of the work is, so there's the stream, then there's some open space, and then there's the cottage, and most of the work is between the cottage and the road. However, the tank is perpendicular to the cottage, so there's perhaps 50 feet. So, you have jurisdiction
Yep.
for
Okay.
construction.
Okay. And then what's the other site visit?
The other one is to lot ZG2, Platte Corner Road, to the Wheelock site. And that NextEra Energy has filed a building permit application for the battery energy storage facility, which is under a special permit with the planning board. But you have to go out there and take a look. They've staked the site, and if I've spoken with their contact person. If you want to come up with a couple of dates, then a couple of their staff people will meet you out there. I told her that you all would be, that a couple of the commissioners are new and they would be interested in looking a little further at the site, and that the commission would be particularly curious as to how the revegetation was going. So I just let her know that.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah, I actually got to go out there because we walked the fence for the Pratt East site, but I would love to get back there again.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to see. And I'm eager to go back, although they moved that entire project out of the 100-foot buffer zone, the planning board has been kind in inviting the commission to go on various site visits. And as I've said to the planning board several times, I will be happy when that site is vegetated and I don't feel the need to go out there anymore. But when Robin, you and I were out there, what was it, last fall, I think? I think it was last fall.
I think so.
And the area under the solar panels, which is, a good 20 acres or so, I would say is 50% vegetated, and the rest is just still this root mulch that they put down. So I look forward to an opportunity to see if more stuff is grown in there.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
So supposedly the planning board the planning board did request that they reseed it again this growing season. So anyway, so we don't have dates for, do we have a plan for 25 Lakeview Road? Is that staked out and are they ready for a site visit?
I wrote to the engineer and I haven't heard back from him.
Okay.
So, I think that if you want to go, there's 3 weeks now between tonight and the next meeting because there are 5 Thursdays in July.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to set up the Wheelock site, NextEra Energy, get that done because they're ready, and and then once I get a sense of what's happening with Lakeview, then I can let you know. And that makes sense to you. I don't know.
Sure. Sure, do you want to look at next week? Does that work for Liam and Robin?
My only commitment is Monday.
So yeah, I think I'm going to be visiting my parents through Tuesday morning, so I think I can't do Tuesday or Monday.
Okay. Tuesday or Monday. And my daughter comes to visit for a very brief visit on the 2nd. So the one day next week that works for me is the, wait, I'm looking at the wrong week. We're looking at the 20, so the 27th and 28th are out, right?
Correct.
So the 29th is a possibility for me. You know, as usual, late morning is a good time.
Okay.
And then after that, the following week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday morning right now works.
So that would be the
The
third,
3rd, 4th, or 5th.
3 to 5. Right. Okay.
And we're tossing those dates for.
Just a backup date in case the 29th doesn't work for
Okay.
the Wheelock people.
Yeah.
Right, Linda, they asked for a couple of dates?
Well, just right. Yeah. Just because they're coming from out of the area and, so I just thought it'd be helpful if you all had a couple dates.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I could do either the 29th or early that week after too.
Same here.
Okay.
So
And-
you want to say Monday the 3rd?
Sure.
Just to give them a different day of the week if for some reason that makes a difference to them.
Okay.
And is the planning board going to join us on that? Do you know? Yeah,
I didn't take any action relative to the planning board
Okay.
because this,
Okay.
it's up to you, Penny. This is a building permit application and, I didn't want to in any way overstep the boundaries of
of various boards.
out there.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly makes sense to have multiple boards go on a particular day, especially if the applicant's representative is coming from out of town. So we'll see if that works, but we'll propose those 2 days for now.
Yeah, I'll let, so 10 o'clock, is that,
Sure.
okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I agreed to let the contact person know tomorrow so they can confirm, especially since, yeah. Okay, deal.
Okay.
And then I'll let you know about 25 Lakeview Road once I have more information.
Okay. So then our last item is to fill out the determination for 25 Leverett Road.
Yes, and I could screen share that if
That sounds good.
you let me.
Oh, I need to let you.
I think so.
Oh, I remember how to do this.
Yes.
You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Okay, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just get it. Oh my goodness, hold on.
Is it possible to make it smaller or is it?
I can't, what would you like me to do?
Well, I can just see such a tiny bit of the form.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess we can just scroll through.
Okay, so wait a minute.
There, you made it smaller.
Okay, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Hang on. There we go. That's better, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So this is the, the plan. Date was filed. Project description and project location. And then we go on to the determination on the first section. Penny, you can do this part. I'll just,
Okay, so if we give them a positive determination, they're required to fill out a notice of intent. So typically on these, we scroll down to where it says a negative determination. And I can only see part of the form because I can see everyone else's lovely face off on the right side.
to move it.
I think I can see it now. So the area, we won't check number 1 because it is in the buffer zone. We won't check number 2 because they are doing some work in the buffer zone. So I can't quite, let me see if I can just change you guys. There you go. I made you go away. So then we typically would check number 3, which says the work is in the buffer zone, but if it's done with the conditions that we give, it will not alter the protected area. So we'll check number 3 and we will list in the couple of blanks here the orders that are associated with the project. And I guess they didn't really give us a narrative on describing the order in which they would do things. Some of the site plans have that listed on there, but this one did not, that I recall.
Yeah, it's in the request, it says replace failed septic system with new septic tank, pump tank, and new raised leach field. And
so I guess in my mind, you would ask them to install silt fence or erosion control first. And we would need to make a note somehow that it's modified based on Liam's suggestion that it arc around along the, I guess it's the north property line.
Correct.
oh dear.
And this isn't that Linda's a bad typist. These forms are just the program to do this is just not a very cooperative program.
Is that
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. We just want to make sure. I think you got is instead of it.
Oh yeah.
There.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think Liam, you also made the point that the that exit pipe be on the far side of the erosion control. Is that right?
Well, I just mentioned that there's the water flows from the exit pipe. So I think that if it arcs around the north property line, the erosion control should be past the pipe. But should we specify that it actually be past that exiting culvert?
Well, so from my experience, being explicit is always good in the long run because it's remarkable how many ways there are to misinterpret something.
So maybe it extends east past the culvert outlet.
Hang on for a second. As Penny said, this form is really persnickety.
Very fussy.
And
Yeah, and extends east past the culvert outlet.
I'm trying. I'm trying to
Yeah,
type.
no, I'm just trying to. Do we need to say anything else? I wasn't pressuring you, Linda. Sorry.
Extend. Well, jeez. And see, I type fast and then it doesn't. Anyway, extends east past the culvert.
Yeah, the outflow culvert, or the, I don't know, what would you call that, Liam? You had a good name for it.
I said culvert outlet.
Yes, culvert outlet.
Should we specify where it is? Approximately
Good grief.
north of property boundary, just because it's not on their property.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, okay. Well, we can get it all down and then fuss with things if we need to.
So did you want more on there? It extends east past the culvert outlet.
That should be fine. I mean, I think Craig knows where it is, but he didn't know where it
But
was
Craig
until.
is not the person who's going to be putting the system in, so it needs to be
Gotcha.
clear to whoever's going to come in and do the work, which is why in these things it's always better to be much more persnickety about things than you think is necessary.
Okay, so maybe just say in the woods north of the property boundary, just to be clear that it's not on the property.
Whoops. North.
Mhm.
So just to be clear, the point is that the erosion control should not include the outlet. Right? The outlet should be on the wetland side.
The point is that so it should prevent any erosion from getting into the stream bed. And if the erosion control extends east past that culvert outlet, that should be the best possible scenario for erosion control.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. And Linda, are you able to, I know sometimes when we amend a site plan, we draw on it and attach that as an amended part of the determination. Are you able to do that at this point?
No, I don't know. Liam, I don't know if we.
Because what we've done before, you know, is we've drawn on the site plan and we've said like this is attachment,
Okay,
whatever.
So I can tell you that I don't have, I have only an 8.5 by 11 copy of the
site plan?
Of the site, the current site plan.
But you could draw on that and attach it to the conditions, couldn't you?
Yep.
I know I'm being persnickety about this, but
yeah, it's just
I think a picture sometimes is easier than a verbal description of these kinds of things.
The only problem is that I'm going to do that not really
so here's a suggestion. Could Liam do that on his copy of the site plan and scan it and send you a PDF of it?
I could potentially even make notes on a digital copy, just kind of sketch what I'm describing, and then send it to you, Linda.
I would feel more comfortable with that, because not having been to the site and, you know, so if you do that, Liam, that would be great.
Sure, yeah.
That would be great. And then I would label that attachment something, attachment A. And instead of going through all of the description that we have here, I would say install erosion control as shown in attachment A. And then I would take out the last sentence because the contractor, the excavator, I don't think will appreciate the subtlety of the last sentence.
The goal, you mean the goal bit?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I would say that erosion control serves as limit of work. Any excavated material needs to be, any excess excavated material needs to be removed from the buffer zone. And I would add in that sentence, Linda, excess excavated material.
What?
And the last one I would say is once site is revegetated, or once area is vegetated, or something like that, and site is stable, erosion control will be removed. Will be removed.
Thank you.
Declarative sentence.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So can everyone read through that and make sure it's good?
Looks good to me.
Yep. Okay. And then. Okay, so then I think that I'm going to make arrangements with Craig Martin to deliver it by hand when it's ready, because he lives across the street. So it doesn't seem to make much sense to send it by certified mail since he's right across the street. So I think I will arrange for that.
Okay.
And I don't know.
And you can put the date in when you know what that date is?
Yes, if that's okay with you, I'll put it in.
That's fine.
You know, once we're all good. And then we have the statement here regarding the certificate of vote authorizing the execution of documents with electronic signatures. So if you are all set with your determination, then we will put in your signatures.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Put them in while you watch. I can't type very well when I'm being watched.
Always challenging.
To me too.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thanks,
Uh,
Linda.
Linda, when do you the attachment A? Do you think you'll get to this on Tuesday?
I would definitely get to it by on Tuesday.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to be out of the office most of Monday. So does Tuesday work for you?
Yeah, I should be able to get it over tomorrow morning, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
establish
yeah.
when you
You
would
know,
work on it.
Yeah, if you do get it over, you know, tomorrow, I may have time to put it all together and, you know, make a plan for that. So that would be great. If not, I would take care of it on Tuesday. I know they're anxious, and so the date of issuance is when they go, what they go by. So I usually, for determinations like this, I usually will try to do it the next day.
Okay.
But that depends on your schedule and what you've got available, you know, time-wise.
Yeah, I can take care of it tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right. So when I get it from you, then I'll take action.
All right, perfect.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then I'm just going to take a minute to make sure that I've got this all saved before I do anything else. Okay.
So Linda, this isn't your last meeting with us, is it?
If there it isn't anybody else, then I guess you'll be stuck with me.
We will never be stuck with you.
I you know, I don't want to leave you, you all, in any kind of. Sorry, I'm just making sure I have to save that in 2 places just so I'm good. I don't want to leave you without assistance given everything that's going on. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to take, word has gone out, but I don't think there's been any action yet.
There has not, and I don't think they're even talking about concluding any sort of hiring process, whatever form that takes, until the end of August.
Oh, really?
That's what the ad says, or the notice in the on the website says.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at that.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Because I have a great deal of anxiety. Yes, it says, among many other things, to begin on early August, I guess. But, you know, there's still, nobody has looked at applications yet. So
Have there been any? I don't know.
according to Becky, there have been a few. I don't know whether they're applications or inquiries.
Okay.
But I know a few people have at least inquired.
Okay.
I will certainly follow up on that.
I will, no, I'll keep going with.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to make sure I grasp.
I can't, you know, just stop when there's things that are happening. So we'll just see, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So your next meeting is the 13th.
Right.
We don't know what will happen between now and then.
Right. We don't know.
So I'll just keep keep plugging along, and then we'll see, because my last day is technically the 4th, but you know, someone will need to keep answering the phone and the email until there's someone else to take over. So,
Right.
I'll
Okay. Well, we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anyone else have anything we should discuss tonight, or are we done?
I'm good.
I'm tired.
Yeah, it was long. And we made it through. We didn't have any big thunderstorms. That was my one anxiety that we.
Yeah, I think they went just south of us this time.
Right. I have to admit, it was pretty exciting in the middle of the webinar last night on the Wetland Protection Act. We lost power at our house.
Oh, how did that work?
Oh,
And then 5 minutes later, it came back on,
Oh,
and I
man.
frantically log back in, go to the chat room, and instead of, putting in a question like that goes to everybody, I just singled out the person running it, and I was like, I lost power. I didn't leave voluntarily. I'm back.
So was it a useful webinar?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Oh, good.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we don't have coastal stuff, but a lot of the other things. And you may be interested, I sent it to Liam and Linda, but beforehand they sent me sort of the slideshow that it was going to be based on. And I'm happy to forward that to you as well.
Yeah.
But that was so we could prepare, and that you knew you didn't have to write down everything they were saying. You could just write down the
Good.
extra stuff.
Good. Well, again, I recommend if you, if your schedule allows, taking advantage of those opportunities. And of course, the town will pay for your participation in those if you think that they're worthwhile for you to do. So good.
I sent Linda my invoice immediately.
Good.
As soon as I paid.
Yeah.
yes. So I've submitted it, but it always takes a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Right. And as I overheard someone in town hall saying, warrants are only issued every 2 weeks. So, it depends on where you are in the cycle as to when you get paid.
Yeah.
I remember last time I was shocked how fast I got reimbursed for the thing in February.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. So let's close our meeting. I make a motion that we close our meeting at 8:58 p.m.
Liam Cregan seconds that.
All in favor?
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan,
Thanks,
aye.
aye. That was a mess of eyes. Okay, thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Good.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.